According to participants, a great chill overtook the private Russian diplomatic meetings in December. Previously, the discussions were kept secret, but now the word is out. Russia no longer wants the U.S. nuclear security alliance. Until the talks were finalized, the U.S. helped Russia protect their stockpiles of weapon-grade uranium and plutonium. If stolen, multiple terror groups could get their hands on it through the black markets. This doesn't come as a surprise since Russia's inability to cooperate in the Ukraine crisis. The EU and the U.S. have hit the country with strong economic sanctions. The U.S. has helped fund Russia's nuclear surveillance. This funding was needed to install high-tech radiation detectors in airports and border crossings in order to catch nuclear smugglers. U.S. officials are hoping Russia changes their mind in order to protect global security. More nuclear talks continue between Iran and major world powers. The group decided on a deadline of June 30th to finalize all deals. As French negotiator Nicolas de la Rivière left the EU mission in Geneva, he said, "The mood was very good, but I don't think we made a lot of progress." Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said that the talks were extensive and good.
We reviewed all subjects on the table and we had very serious and business-like negotiations. It was very useful, but we had good discussion and negotiations today. We had also some bilaterals. We had with all European countries, we had with the Chinese delegation. Yesterday we had bilaterals with Russian and American delegations. It's too soon to say if we are able to make any progress or not. We are still trying to bridge the gaps between the two sides.
President Obama warned lawmakers last week that new sanctions on Iran could ruin diplomatic talks. Obama said that sanctions against Iran's nuclear program could cause a military conflict with Tehran. Chinese envoy Wang Quan says this time is running short. Quan wants all parties to reach political decisions. The dispute over Iran's nuclear program is now more than 10 years old. Washington continues to lobby for new sanctions against Iran based on limited progress. Recent discussions at a summit of the European Union foreign prime minister has led a strong alliance to tackle terror groups. The summit held in Brussels was held after the recent attacks in Paris, which left 17 people dead. The talks led to a heightened awareness of Europeans who have gone to Iraq and Syria to fight. Other issues include illegal arms dealing. Due to anti-terror raids, over 20 people have been arrested in France, Belgium, and Germany. Representatives for the EU for Foreign Affairs, Federica Mogherini, says that the threat is not only the one we faced in Paris, but is also spreading in many other parts of the world, starting from Muslim countries. Mogherini said that the EU needs to be more cooperative with each other and Muslim nations. Over 250 Yazidis were freed by the Islamic State after being held in captivity for over 6 months in Iraq. They are now under the care of Kurdish authorities. The majority of those released were children and the elderly. Over 500,000 Yazidis live in Iraq and make up less than 1% of the country's population. The group has suffered some of the hardest persecution from Muslims. A large amount of Yazidi villages continue to be under the control of the Islamic State control. Many of the women have been sold into slavery or forced to marry. Many of those released thought that they were on their way to be executed as militants forced them into buses. It is still unclear why the Yazidis were freed. A guard who was watching over a polio vaccinator has been shot by gunmen in Pakistani city of Karachi. The attackers fled on motorcycles as police returned their fire. The guard is now in critical condition in a nearby hospital. This attack comes during a 3-day campaign hoping to vaccinate over 1 million children. Authorities are hoping for a better year after over 300 cases of polio were diagnosed last year. This is the highest the country has seen in nearly 16 years. Militants continue to fight the government over the vaccine, claiming it causes infertility and that polio workers are spies. In just 2 years, more than 60 polio workers have been killed. Bangladesh police have arrested 4 alleged Islamic State members, including a suspected regional coordinator for the group. Authorities detained the group after they were caught with materials linking them to militancy, including leaflets and a laptop. The suspected militant coordinator, Mohammed Kabir, said that the cell had received training in Pakistan. Kabir said that the group was working on collecting funds and weapons in order to attack Bangladesh government targets. Pakistan has not been able to comment. Bangladesh has arrested 8 people this year in suspected relation to the Islamic State. The crisis in Ukraine has now left the Donetsk airport close to ruins. With the airport infrastructure nearly flattened, the runways continue to be intact. These runways could be of great use for pro-Russian separatists. Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko spoke at recent peace rallies, promising victory. Fighting over the weekend left 8 rebels dead and 33 wounded. A Ukrainian spokesperson said that they had succeeded in almost completely cleansing the territory of the airport. According to Ukraine, 8,500 Russian troops are fighting alongside the rebels. Russia denies all involvement in the conflict and says only volunteers are helping the opposition. Since the start of the conflict, over 4,800 people have been killed. Outrage in Nigeria after 2 citizens were executed. Indonesian officials executed 6 people by firing squad due to drug trafficking accusations. Nigeria is now taking a stand on the issue. The country has summoned Indonesia's ambassador. According to a Nigerian foreign ministry spokesman, the executions were carried out despite persistent pleas for clemency. Although Nigeria has a death penalty, it is used for much more serious offenses than drug trafficking. Indonesia has had a major crackdown on drug offenders. The country is the largest drug market for Southeast Asia. Indonesia currently circulates 45% of the area's drugs.